Welcome to the Dram Amateur Podcast. Well, hey everybody, welcome to the Dram Amateur Podcast. My name is Jason. Thank you guys all so much for joining and listening to the podcast today. I appreciate it very much. If you do not follow me on the social media networks, please follow me on Instagram at dram_amateur. Love to have you follow me and interact with me. That would be fantastic. I'm also on Facebook, but I'm going to be honest with you. I don't do shit on Facebook. But I'm on there at Facebook at the Dram Amateur Podcast as well. Follow me there. But Instagram's definitely the place to find me. So thanks all for joining tonight. We have now shifted, for the time being, to the once every 2 week episode cycle. It's going to be a change, definitely. I will be honest with you. Over the last 2 weeks, I have done an absolutely poor job of planning for this podcast today. I had 2 weeks to get this done since the last podcast, and I thought that it would give me some time over the weekends or during the week to record this and stay on top of things. And unfortunately, I have failed miserably. So I come to you live I shouldn't say live. I'm recording this November 1st, the Wednesday night before I'm about to drop the podcast, which means I'm right back to my old cycle doing things last minute. So it's funny, man. As much as, recording these podcasts is a lot of fun. But it takes time. And when I have a busy job, busy life, 3 kids that keep me very busy, and obviously a house to maintain and everything, it's kind of hard just to even step away for an hour to do these things. So it definitely takes some time out, but I'm glad to be back with you guys tonight. It's cool to be back behind the mic. I feel really good about that. I've actually been looking forward to this all day as well. And I'm actually going to get ahead too. I think I'm going to try to get my buddy Troy over here on Sunday, and I'm going to record a podcast in person with him. I think that will be fun. I think having a partner to record with for every now and then is going to be a beneficial thing to kind of give me a break to have fun and bounce some conversation off of each other. So I'm very much looking forward to that. So I hope everybody had a good Halloween. We had a blast here in my neighborhood. I've got 3 younger teenage kids who all dressed up, and their nieces and nephews came over, or my nieces and nephews came over. So they all hung out with them, and my nieces and nephews are 5th kindergarten, 7th grade, and I think 4th or 5th grade. So definitely on the younger side. So they had a lot of fun together, trick-or-treating and everything like that. Big family event. Everybody comes over, had pizza and all that. And we did good candy-wise. My neighborhood does it up. A lot of good Halloween displays, a lot of good costumes, but it's really fun to see the kids have a great time. It's a blast. Let's see, what else happened over the last couple weeks? Braves lost. I don't think I recorded an episode after the Braves lost it all. I may have, but I don't remember. I'm very sad about that. It's a huge disappointment. It is what it is. Obviously, we need to be better. Need to be a better team. I don't know if we need better management. I don't know what the answer is. We just need to perform better. I saw a stat the other day after it happened that we have made the playoffs the last 5 years. We've lost 4 of those 5 in the NLDS, and in the middle year, in between the 3rd year, we won the World Series. So with a team as talented as this has been, especially this year, we can't keep doing that. It is just not feasible. It's just absolutely not feasible. You got to take that talent and bring it to the next level. But glad to see the Phillies lost, right? Huge non-Phillies fan here. I'll be honest with you. Kind of rooting for the D-backs right now. I don't think it's going to happen. They're down 3-1. I think they play again tonight. The Rangers look like they're just the team to beat right now. I really hope the D-backs rally and win the whole thing. I just don't think it's going to happen. So, we'll see. Football wise, it's sad that my Niners have been losing poorly. It's been a rough 3 weeks. We have lost to some pretty good teams. I mean, the Bengals are no joke. The Browns were no joke. I forget who we lost in between. I completely cannot remember right now off the top of my head, but just really bad, just bad playing. Defense has been playing poorly. We have just not been playing well on offense either. Good news is we did snag Chase Young for a freaking box of Cracker Jacks, for crying out loud. I mean, we gave nothing up for him. So kind of cool to have Chase Young on the D line. Maybe that adds a little additional pressure for the offense and the quarterback on the opposing team. So hopefully that will help us out in the long run. Hopefully it does, because I cannot continue to lose like this. It has been absolutely painful to watch. While teams that, like, Detroit's been playing well, the Eagles have been playing well, Dallas had a good game the other day. So it's really difficult to watch the whole division. Other teams in the division play well, and we just lose and lose and lose and lose. It's been very, very difficult to watch. So it is what it is, right? We will persevere through it. We've had these years before where we've been not that great of a team, and we've come out at the end. So we will just continue to see what happens. Let's see what else we got. I'm trying to think what else we got going on. Nothing else new. I think it's been a pretty quiet week. I think for me, it's just getting through the holidays. I hope you guys all have some time off from work and set aside for you guys. For me, I'm gonna try to take Halloween. I'm gonna try to take Thanksgiving off. Try to take some time at Christmas off as well. Definitely need the break. I've got travel planned also the next 2 months. I got to head to Orlando here in a couple of weeks. I got to head to Germany the first week of December, and then I got to be in Mexico City in January. So my schedule just gets busier as the year goes on, or as the year ends and the year turns to the new year. So I will definitely find time to do podcasts, because I actually like just kind of sitting here and hanging out with you guys and doing this. And like I said, I think I'm going to try to find some people to kind of help me out. So if you're one of my friends and I know you, keep the phone handy. I think we need to probably try to hook me up and give me an extra person to spar with. So looking forward to that. But yeah, so let me talk about some of the things that have happened over the last couple of weeks as far as the spirit world. Spirit world sounds really weird after Halloween with like liquor. So a couple weeks ago, not this past Saturday, the Saturday before, Max's Bottle Shop in Johns Creek had their 10th anniversary. And I got lucky. I got to meet Nerds and Burbs out there. So Nerds and Burbs had recently made a purchase for me of a rum. So he's part of a group, and I don't remember the name of it, but he's part of a group that they release these rums and bourbons and all these different things. Rum's a little bit less, I think he said, than the bourbons. So he had reached out to me about a rum that they released, and I was like, absolutely yes. So I guess this group does a first release. Everybody that signs up to get a bottle, if those orders are not fulfilled, then those bottles obviously are still hanging around, and then they had to do a second run for those bottles. And luckily enough, Nerds and Burbs was one of the guys that got tagged for the second run of bottles, so I got one. So I'm pretty excited about this. So Nerds and Burbs was awesome that day. He came out and we kind of hung out at Max's for a little bit before the anniversary festivities. He brought me this bottle. So this is a Holmes K single cask rum, Belize 16 year from 2006. I think this is my first Belize rum, if I'm not mistaken. I think I had a sample of Belize rum from Chicago Rum Ramblings. I think it was a Holmes K as well. But this was a single cask release. So it was distilled in 2006, bottled in 2022. It is 100% tropically aged, which is awesome. So that 16 years in the tropics like that really brings out quite the punch in this. Absolutely love it. So aged 16 years in ex-bourbon casks. This is cask number 153, bottle number 194. We'll get to numbers here in a second. So yeah, pretty ecstatic about this. It is 61% alcohol, so 122 proof. Very, very happy to have this. So this was It's pretty cool. I don't see very many of these Holmes K's around in Georgia. I do see them in Florida when I travel. I do see them in Chattanooga when I head up that way as well. But pretty cool to have found this, and it's a killer bottle. I cracked it that day and shared a few samples, and man, it's absolutely killer. So great find, Nerds and Burbs, man. Shout out to you. Huge respect for helping me out with this and bringing it out to me and meeting me. But thank you very much. One thing I want to mention, so I mentioned the bottle number here a second ago, right? So the bottle number here is 194, and I wanted to share with you guys, like, just something weird for me, right? And I don't know if you guys do it, but hey, we're going to be weird together. Or if we're going to be weird, let's be weird together, right? So when I do single barrel, if I buy a single barrel of something, like not single barrel, like a single barrel bottle of something, and if it's individually numbered, I will look for a number that means something to me. Now, it doesn't have to mean, it doesn't have to be the exact number, right? But at least have the number in it. That's really cool. So most bottlings of a spirit from a single barrel will be anywhere from, I don't know, one bottle, right? You could have one bottle. I guess the Angel Share takes one bottle, or someone spills half the barrel. You could have one bottle to 220. I think is normal yield. I think average normal yield is like 180 to 200. Obviously, again, with age in the barrel, with Angel Share as well, that barrel yield decreases over time. So and especially like the amount of the climate that it's in, right? So something like this which is all tropically aged, it's always warm, it's always humid. You're going to have a lower yield from that barrel as you would if you had a barrel, say, in Canada, right? Because I don't know if the liquid would leak out or evaporate as quickly as it would obviously in the tropics. So I think there's probably a lot of factors with it, and I'm not going to even tell you that I'm the scientist and I know all of this stuff, so I'm not even going to pretend, but I'm going to say, and I'm pretty confident, I think, with saying this, that if you had a 16-year-old barrel in Canada and you had a 16-year-old barrel in the tropics, I have a feeling the yield would be much less from the barrel in the tropics than in Canada, right? Again, you have to take into consideration a lot of different elements and factors and things like that, but I feel pretty confident with that. So when they do these bottles, right, when they do the single barrels, a lot of the distillers, I shouldn't say manufacturers, a lot of distillers will individually number every bottle. So like just some cool ones, right? I have a short barrel, single barrel rye from Chattanooga. It's bottle like number 1 of 184. That was cool. And when I saw, it's cool because I had been searching for a short barrel, single barrel rye. I am a huge fan of their Founders Reserve 15 year. If you can afford that bottle and you find one, do yourself the favor and buy it. It's absolutely fantastic. I actually even have a store pick from them as well of a bourbon, and it's really good. I think I got it from Total Wine. But that bottle of rye was individually numbered on the back, bottle number 1 of 184, 185. So that's pretty cool. Like I immediately, like when I picked it up, I looked at it, I was excited to have it. I turned it around, and I saw that. I'm like, yeah, now it's definitely coming home with me. So I always look for numbers like that on the bottle. So this one being 194, right? The 1 doesn't mean anything to me, but the 94 does. So the 1994 is the year I graduated high school. So, I just showed my age. If you do the math on here, and send it to me on Instagram, I swear to God, we're gonna have problems. I understand I'm older. I'm not old. I'm older. I'm young at heart, man. That's all that matters. So little things like that. So, just weird things, right? If I can't find a number that resonates with me, I'll find one that has 69 in it, right? I mean, come on, I'm a child sometimes, right? I have to be a kid. But numbers like 12, 23, the number 9 just by itself. So like bottle number 9 would be cool. My birthday's on the 9th of a month. My daughter's birthday is on the 9th of a month. My best friend's birthday is on the 9th of a month. So the number 9 has a lot of meaning for me. 23, what did I say, 12, 23, 20. So like those are a lot of those are a lot of the numbers I always look for. So having a number in the bottle number that resonates with me, I always try to look for that. I'm a little, I don't want to say weird, right? But we all have our little quirks about quirks. That's a good word. Yeah. We all have a little quirks about us that I think, some people might be like, oh, it's weird, but I'll tell you what, if somebody said the same thing to me about the bottle number, I'd be like, holy shit, dude, I do the same thing, right? So it's kind of cool. And you don't all the time get to choose your bottle number. You also don't all the time get to find a bottle number where the box is open that you can pick a bottle that you want. So you have to settle for something. So again, it's not every single time, but if I have something I try to find, then that's good. So cheers to you, Nerds and Burbs. Thanks for the bottle, man. It's a killer bottle. Totally excited to have it. So when we're out at Max's, Nerds and Burbs and I hung out for a while. So we got there early. I think the festivities started at noon. We were there at 9. And it was cool. No, 10. We were there at 10. We were there at 10. I can't remember. I can't do math right. I can't remember. So we hopped in and kind of looked around and did a little shopping. Looked around what Ritesh had at Max's in the tequila section and the bourbon section, in this case that he had, and looked in the rum section as well. I was telling Nerds and Burbs about all the different tequilas that are really good, sharing feedback on those. We talked a little bit about some of the bourbons that were there. Max has had the new bottles from Middle West Spirits. They had the Oloroso sherry cask finish one, the rye that was finished in something, and then the wheated one. There's the wheated straight whiskey, and then the rye that are all finished. They're in the tubes. Man, that was cool. Ritesh, he actually had the bottles open in the back, and he brought them all out and gave us sample bottles or sample thick little cups and said, "Here, try these." So I got to try those. Those were really interesting. I'm a big fan of Middle West. I like what they're doing. They're completely grain to glass, which is really neat. You don't see too many distilleries that are doing that. And I mean, who would think that a distillery out of Ohio can create a really, really quality product? A couple of years ago, they had sent me the bourbon and the rye, the dark pumpernickel rye, both really solid pours. Props to them for that. They just recently sent me a cocktail mixing kit for a pumpkin spice old fashioned. So, I mean, that was pretty cool of them to do that. They didn't have to do that. They just reached out to me and asked me if they could send me that, and I did a review on that for them, and it was really good. I mean, who would think like a pumpkin spice old fashioned would be like solid, but like the pumpkin spice old fashioned with some apples in it, man, it was delicious. It was totally like the fall weather drink. So the rest of the card that they sent me gave me a recipe with how to make the pumpkin spice simple syrup as well. So I'll admit I ran out of the simple syrup. I made several more of the old fashions with all the simple syrup. And it was really good. So shout out to you, Middle West Spirits. Really appreciate you guys sending me that stuff. That's really thoughtful of you, and very much appreciate that. But we tried those bottles, and man, they were really good. I think I remember. I think the rye was my favorite, and then the wheater was my second favorite, and then I think the bourbon one was last. And I don't have all the details on them, but if you go to a liquor store, you'll see them, and they're in tubes. And the bottles are in there. Packaging's on point. The bottle is on point. Like, it is a really solid looking product that they have. I was surprised a little bit how sweet the wheated one was. I was shocked at how sweet it was, and for me, I don't want to say it was too sweet because I don't think it was, but it was definitely something that I don't think would be for everybody. But look at it and see. So yeah, so I'm looking here. The ported pumpernickel rye whiskey was one of the ones that we had. The Oloroso wheat one. That's not. I don't think that's the one that I think that was the one I liked. Third. Oh no, maybe that wasn't, because that was the wheat one. There's a dark pumpernickel rye. Sorry, I'm looking at Instagram through all of these as you can see how prepared I am as usual for the podcast. But yeah, I can't find the other one. There are 3 of them out. And they're very good. Definitely the Oloroso wheat. I already saw that one 3 times. So yeah, I don't know. Definitely very good. Definitely something, if you guys have the chance to try it, get a pour of it. I think if you bought them, you would not be upset. Again, solid pour. Definitely something to. Oh yeah, the sherry cask finished bourbon was the other one. So I like the rye, the Oloroso wheat, and then the sherry cask bourbon was my 3rd favorite. All of them very good. The sherry cask bourbon was very, very sherry. Like I was very surprised how sherry it was, but it was really good. So that was really cool. So we sat around, talk, shoot the shit a little bit with Ritesh. It was a lot of fun. And then Ritesh had his big event. So for his 10th anniversary of Max's Bottle Shop, Ritesh had done a couple things. They did a store pick of Old Forester single barrel strength bourbon, which was super awesome. I got to crack that bad boy this weekend. I have had a few people that have told me how good that pour is, and I am super duper excited to try it. So he had that. And then he had his raffle. So he does all his allocation stuff. If you buy a store pick, he gives you a ticket. And then they come in and he just pulls tickets, and then you get to do raffle items. So he had pulled tickets. I had received, so it was 115 bottles, I think he said. And I ended up with just one ticket pull. Some people had 4 ticket pulls. Props to them, man. That's awesome. I had 1 ticket pull, and I grabbed, I was ticket number 9. So Ritesh knew kind of what I wanted. He didn't set it aside or anything for me, but I had some good numbers because he had 2 bottles of Old Forester birthday bourbon. You guys know my love for Old Forester, but not Old Forester birthday bourbon. So those went quick. He had some Joseph Magnus cigar blend. He also had some Old Fitz as well. So those went all pretty quick. So when it got down to me at number 9, my Holy Grail bottle for this calendar year was still available. And I was finally able to acquire a bottle. Super duper excited to have acquired it. I still haven't even cracked it. I need to, because I absolutely love it. But yeah, very excited. So I ended up with a bottle of Jack Daniel's 12. Jack Daniel's 12. After all the money I've spent on pours of that, I was super duper excited to have my own. We recently had to switch bars because my old bartender had left our old favorite place to go. Miss her very much, but I had to finish off a bottle of a Jack Daniel's 12 at the new place we started to go to, so I got to finish it off there. And I was like, okay, I had thrown in the towel. I knew the raffle was coming up, or the lottery was coming up. I knew I had a chance to get one. I was completely fine. Like if my number was pulled and all the Jack 12 was gone, I was like, I'm good with it. I was in a good spot because I'd had enough of it this year, but I was super duper excited when it was still there. So I grabbed the Jack 12. So hung out toward the end and saw everything that everybody got. Anybody that wasn't there and wanted to stick around, they did repulls of numbers for people that didn't show up, so you could buy bottles. So I ended up with an Old Carter rye. I think it was a batch 11. So I was excited about getting that because I have an Old Carter bourbon from a couple of years ago. So I got the batch 11 of the rye. That was pretty cool. I ended up with the Old Forester single barrel strength pick that he did as well. I ended up with a Foursquare Touchstone. So Foursquare Touchstone is it's probably my second favorite Foursquare rum. I'm going to go out on a limb. So listen. I have almost every single Foursquare rum that's been released in the U.S. It's to the point where I have so much Foursquare rum that's released, I probably need to stop buying the releases and just enjoy the ones that I have until I start clearing some of them out, and then I can maybe start buying them again. So this Touchstone one was released, I don't know, maybe 6 to 8 months ago now. I did snag a bottle of it in Chattanooga, and then he had a bottle of it in the raffle, so I snagged a backup bottle of that. My favorite Foursquare, I have a 2004, 2005, 2007, 8, 9, 10. I have all of them, right? I have all the like special releases, the Shibboleth, I've got the Empery, I've got the Detent, I've got all of them, right? I'm not going to go down the list, but the 2009 is my favorite. I have backup bottles there because I think it's literally like if the 2009 wasn't $100 a bottle, that would easily be my daily pour. Probably my favorite Foursquare that there is. But this Touchstone's my second favorite, man. It is a solid pour. If you like bourbon, you want to try something a little bit different, that Foursquare Touchstone is where it's at. Definitely a solid pour, definitely a bottle to acquire. So I got another one of those. I also got the Woodford Reserve Batch Proof. He had the Woodford Reserve Batch Proof left. He had a Knob Creek 18 left as well that I contemplated for a little while to get. The Woodford Reserve Batch Proof I heard was pretty good this year. You guys all may remember, I'm not a big Woodford Reserve fan. I don't like regular Woodford. I do not like the double oak. I'm one of the weird few people that do not like the double oak, but I don't like the double oak either. I had the Woodford Reserve Historic Barrel Entry that I really, really did enjoy. It was probably one of my favorite pours this year. So I did end up getting a bottle of that. And then previously, a couple months ago, and then he had the Woodford Reserve Batch Proof. So I was pretty excited to get that. So I snagged that. I said, you know what, it'll be cool to have, get one of those to give it a try. Again, probably I said after the Historic Barrel Entry, it'll probably be my only Woodford Reserve I'll ever have. Because you just don't find those sitting on shelves, number one. Number two, if you do, you're probably paying an arm and a leg for them. And to me, it's just not worth it. So he had it for retail, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna snag it. I mean, what the hell? I mean, you only live once. So I snagged that, and that was awesome. Also snagged a bottle you can probably get on the shelf anywhere, maybe if you find it. So I grabbed the Southern Star Paragon Barrel Proof. Props to Nerds and Burbs. He actually turned me on to this to that bottle. He gave me a sample in the last sample swap that we did a couple months ago, and because I'd never tried it, and I kept on hearing good things about it. What I always heard was like it was an amped up Antique 107. I heard Antique Killer. I heard like all these kind of things with it, right? I'm here to tell you that bottle is one of my favorite bottles, and like it's if you start thinking about dailies, right? Wild Turkey 101, Rare Breed, right? You start thinking about all these daily pours that are you can buy. You don't have to go crazy hunting for them or trying to find them. That bottle, that stuff is awesome. I had it again last night when I was trick-or-treating. I grabbed the little cup and was walking around with it and had a little bit in it. That stuff's fantastic. For the price point of where it is absolutely it's phenomenal. So shout out to Southern Star. They are doing something completely right with that. It will probably be a bottle that I keep on my shelf for a long time. And it will probably be something that I try to keep in stock. I think once my stock starts to dwindle a little bit, which I'll talk about here in a second, but I think once my stock starts to dwindle a little bit, I think I'll definitely go back and buy a bottle of that and keep it on the shelf. So, but yeah, so that was a great event. I was there for quite a while, quite the amount of time on a Saturday. But it was great to see Ritesh. Great turnout too, right? Props to everybody that came out and supported Ritesh and supported them. I absolutely love that store. I love Ritesh. He's a great guy. I love what he's doing. I love the barrel picks that he has. I love his selection. I mean, his bourbon selection, his rum selection, his tequila selection. It is all top notch. So big props to Ritesh for everything that he's doing. And I appreciate you more than you know. So that's awesome. Let's see what else. So other fun news. Oh, I'll go back to the story when I just mentioned, so we don't gloss over that. So I'm in this really weird kind of space right now with my current collection and where I am buying things. It's no surprise that my purchasing has significantly decreased this year as it has in the years past. I also think that I'm at this really weird point where like I look at everything I have and then I see the stuff I'm adding and I'm just adding more than I can drink, right? And I'm one person. I don't have a neighbor who comes over and helps me drink. You know, I have friends I give samples to, of course, but you know, they have collections that are growing as well. So be honest. I'll be honest with you guys. I've told you guys I'll be transparent the entire time. I'm actually been sitting here thinking as I'm thinking about my collection. I've also said, hey, I want to go on a trip to Chattanooga and go hunting. I've been up there for a long time. I am pretty close to the point right now where I'm going to pause for a little bit and try to see if I can get through the collection that I have for a while before I buy another bottle. Now, does this, you know, like, let's be honest, right? When the bottles of things that I know I like comes out, that's a different story. So, for example, the Hampton Estates rum has their 8 mark sampling kit, right? So I'd love to try all the different marks. Marks are recipes or different the different batches recipes for rum. They call them marks. So like when that comes out, I'll buy that, right? When Great House 2023 comes out from Hampton, I'll buy that. But for bourbon and for tequila, I don't know, man. I'm just in this really weird place right now. I have some fantastic tequila, Fortaleza, G4, Tequila Ocho, Cascanes, Siembra Spirits, all the Siembra Valles and the Azul. I have some fantastic bottles of tequila, and everything that I've been trying recently of tequila is good, but nothing is shocking. Like nothing's like, oh my God, I need a bottle of that. Primarily recently, it's been like, oh my God, I have FOMO and need a bottle of that. So again, with tequila, I'm in a really weird space. I also think it's I think it's a change in season. I am definitely drinking more bourbon recently and rum, than I have been tequila, because of just the weather. I had some tequila the other day. But even like the G4 Madeira that I have, right? Great pour. Dude, it's fantastic. And it's cool because the G4 Madeira is so different than the other G4s as well. But just in a weird spot with tequila right now. I passed in a Magente Añejo, which I really wanted. But I look back on it and I'm like, it's $200. I've never had it before. I think I want it more for just the box and the bottle color, to be honest with you. I heard this stuff's really good. But I don't know. Bourbon's kind of the same way. I look at my bourbon collection right now, and I always tell myself this, like, there's very rarely a bottle of bourbon that I want. And I'm kind of in that same place now. There's not, I mean, the Southern Star was good. The Woodford was bought, I think, just because it was there and it was available and it was a good price, right? Old Forester single barrel strengths. I have, oh my God, do I have like 8 different bottles of that now? So do I really need another one? I think for me, like I'm out of Woodford Reserve. No. Oh my, whoa. Slow your roll, bro. I'm not out of Woodford Reserve. I only have the 2 I just mentioned. I'm out of Wild Turkey, rare breed. That's a daily, so that kind of sucks, but I gotta get through some other dailies. I'm out of, I only have a couple Russell's Reserves left, the private barrel ones. You just don't find them in Georgia. I watch videos of these people hunting on YouTube, and they're all over the place. Nobody buys them. I saw a video the other day of a four roses sitting somewhere, and I'm like, dude, seriously? So for me, like if I were ever walk into a liquor store and I saw a Four Roses single barrel, I saw a private select. If I ever saw a Russell's Reserve private select or an Old Forester single barrel strength selection, I would probably buy every single one of them every time. To me, that's my palate. That's what I really like. So it's been, I just don't see them, right? You don't see Four Roses anywhere. You got to know somebody. You don't see Russells anywhere. Occasionally I see an Old Forester, but even then, that's even getting few and far between. So, yeah, so same thing with bourbon, right? Now, special bottles, if I were to stumble across something, different story. But I'm not even finding you don't find special bottles. They're all marked up, man. I'm not paying stupid, ridiculous amounts of markup price on things. Example, right? Let's talk about Midwinter's Night's Dram this year. They have released Scene 11, or no, Act 11. Yeah, Act 11. And this year they increased production. So their production bottles or numbers went up significantly. I think they're at 186,000 bottles that were produced this year, which is much higher than years past. So technically, it's not really allocated anymore because there's so many bottles of it. But that doesn't the MSRP based on their websites $129.99 or $124.99. Whatever it is. And people are still charging a premium for this stuff, right? I've seen it at places for $189. I've seen it at places for $159. And I'll be honest with you, like, I'm starting to question, like, my thing, having my first Midwinter's Night's Dram, I had said to myself, like, look, like, this is a bottle I will always have. I will buy them and hoard them just to make sure I don't ever run out because of the type of pour it is around the season. To me, it's a holiday pour. It's something that I will enjoy around the holiday times, and it just sets the mood for the season. For me, I don't think I'm doing that anymore. I don't think they're worth $189. I don't think they're worth $159. I would probably maybe buy one at $125 or $130. But if you buy it for $189, you're already paying secondary. All right. So let me tell you that, right? So think about that. If you pay $189 for this act or this act 4, scene 12. Yeah. So if you pay for this act, after taxes, you're paying pretty much for what you can get a bottle on secondary for. And with that, that even means some of the older releases, which are better than this one. So I've heard rumors recently that the batch 10 was kind of like meh. It was okay. It's definitely not like it's not drinkable. It's just not batch 9 or Act 9 or Act 8 or any of the other ones. But I heard good things, like, right, they got back on track with this one. This one's much better. But then Pints, Pipes, and Drams just had a sample of it with a couple of buddies at a restaurant recently, and he said there's no change. Now I will say, sorry, Michael, sorry, Pints, Pipes, and Drams. This is not his favorite pour. He's not been a huge Midwinter's Night's Dram fanboy. I have been. But I just don't see it. And I know I have a couple bottles of Act 10. I have a bottle of a 9 and I have a bottle of an 8. And I'd rather just probably drink those instead of spending the money on the Act 11 and then just being completely, or Scene 11. I'm probably screwing this up. I'm sorry. I really don't give a shit. Sorry, High West. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like one of those things. So even with like Midwinter's Night's Dram, as much as I've always said I wanted one, I told my friends, you stumble across one and it's a decent price, get it for me. But again, I'm just not at the point right now where I want it. Kind of the same thing for rum. I hate to say this, but listen, I'll be honest, right? And this might, listen, I think I've probably said this all before anyways, and I'm just like, and then 2 weeks from now, I'll probably be buying bottles and taking pictures and running around Chattanooga on a hunting trip and all this other stuff. But this time, like, I don't know, just something weird. Like, it's just like, I'm not... It's cool to find the things, but it's just like I have so much now where I look at my collection, I'm just like, why? Like, I'm barely going to be able to drink all this before I die at the rate it goes. But same with rum. For example, Foursquare's coming out with a new release. I think it's called the Covenant, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong with that. It might be called something else. It begins with a C. But like, I looked at it the other night and I'm like, I don't think I want this. Like, again, my mind may change. My opinion may change. I don't know if it's just because it's the holidays. And like I'm just like settled with what I have, and my palate's good, and I have good stuff, I'll just drink that. And I need to kind of dwindle the collection down a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it's just I don't have the I don't know. I just don't have the drive to want to go buy barrels or buy bottles anymore. Now, I'll be honest with you. Do I want to go hunting? Absolutely. Like, I would totally go hunting right now. I totally go up to Chattanooga. To be honest with you, if I went to Chattanooga, I'd be looking for one thing, and that'd be a Fortaleza winter blend. There's another bottle that I would want to have. If I ever could find a Fortaleza winter blend, I would totally buy the Fortaleza winter blend in a heartbeat. So that is definitely one bottle that I would buy. But otherwise, I mean, it's just I'm just in this spot right now where, like, I don't know, it's just weird. I wonder if anybody else goes through this, right? Do you guys look at your collection and go, wow, I've got everything, I don't need any more? Or do you guys look at your collection and go, I'm tapped out, I'm burnt out, I have enough? Do you guys look at your collection and go, I know my palate, my palate's good with what I have, I don't need to explore anything else? I'm just curious if anybody goes through this, right? I think that I was talking to Nerds and Burbs, and I was like, you know what? I'm like, I reflect back on like when I was younger, and I remember used to like going to yard sales and antique stores and stuff like that, and hunting around and seeing the things that you could see from like your childhood or what other people were selling and stuff like that. And that to me is kind of cool. I still kind of do that. I'll be honest with you. I like going to antique stores and seeing things that I've never seen before and stuff like that. But do I buy anything? No, I don't. But I think that's part of the fun about going to even liquor stores. Like, you go in, you look around, you're like, oh, that's a cool bottle. Look at that. What is it? Look at it, understand it, learn about it. But I'm just not in the mood of like buying anything right now. So just a weird funk that I'm in, just to be transparent with everybody. It is what it is. And we'll see if I get through it. And if I don't, I got plenty to drink. Listen, if anybody needs samples of anything, literally hit me up, man. I will send you samples. I've got plenty of shit to send to people. So, but yeah, fun, just fun info about me there. Last topic for tonight I want to touch on, is Buffalo Trace, and what they're doing. So if you guys have seen the news recently, Buffalo Trace released an Eagle Rare 25. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's what it was. I think it was a 25 year. So hold on, I'm gonna go to the Instagram. I'm gonna search for it. Let's see, Eagle Rare. Hey, nothing says good podcast like somebody's searching for it on the oh my God, I can't talk, on the Instagram that they're talking. Yep, there it is. It is Eagle Rare 25. So it is released. It is a, let's see, it's 101 proof. Whoop-de frickin' do. Approximately 200 750 milliliter bottles of Eagle Rare 25 will be released to select retailers, bars, and restaurants globally beginning November 2023 at a suggested retail price. I hope everybody's sitting down. You ready? $10,000 per bottle. The expression joins the Eagle Rare lineup of Eagle Rare, Double Eagle, Very Rare, and Eagle Rare 17, released as fall part of blah, 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 Buffalo Trace Antique Collection, whatever. Listen, I've always been that person where it's just like, you know what, it's your company. You run it the way that you want to. But I've also now becoming that person that says, and listen, you own a company, right? You're feeding into the market and the money that's currently spent within that market. So from a business decision standpoint, I get it. Completely get it. But what I'm seeing happening is I'm starting to see distilleries move away from making things affordable for your average consumer, okay? And one could argue, wait, stop, Jason. Buffalo Trace has Buffalo Trace. They've got the benchmark stuff. They've got Eagle Rare. And the list could go on, right? I disagree because of what's happening in the market. And you have a company that's then feeding into that. So from a consumer's lens, I disagree with it. Again, I understand it's business and business is business, right? You're going to have 200 people that acquire this bottle for $10,000. If a retailer, or not a retailer, but wait, no, if a real retailer gets it, they're going to mark it up. It ain't going to be 10,000. It's going to be 20, 25,000. If a bar gets it, the pours are going to be ridiculous. But I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to sell it. It's going to happen, and it's going to get sold. 200 bottles, it's going to happen. I just don't agree with it from a consumer's perspective. If for me, my opinion is my own. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one, right? My opinion is that you're taking something that was meant, in my opinion, it's meant for like sharing. It's meant for introducing to new people. Like bourbon, for example. It's meant to, it's that sense of like friendship and collaboration and like all that kind of stuff, right? So I think for me, that's what any spirit is. That's what tequila is. That's what rum is. That's what bourbon is. And I've talked about this too, right? I was introduced into this from my buddies Michael and Jordan. I have then done the same thing now from my two buddies, also Alan and Troy, and now Troy's did that for me with tequila. I've now done that with him with rye and bourbon. So but again, and think about Nerds and Burbs with me, right? Sending me samples, I give him samples, he finds bottles for me. That's to me what this is all about. And I'm sad I don't have a neighbor that wants to come over and hang out and drink every single night. Like I have a fantastic, and just shoot the shit. How was your day? It fucking sucked. Yeah, my day sucked too. What happened? Blah, 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 right? And just shoot the shit. But that's what this is all about. Okay. To me, everyone has their own opinions. I'll stand on mine. I don't agree with what Buffalo Trace is doing. I literally just said to somebody today, somebody said that they missed out on an Eagle, Elijah Craig 18, and they settled for Buffalo. No, I'm saying they settled for an E.H. Taylor small batch. I was literally like, meh. I'm like, I have an extra small batch. Who wants it, right? And my buddy's like, trade fodder. I'm like, it is. I'm like, I'll tell you right now. I have a Buffalo. Did I say Buffalo Trace small batch? I meant an E.H. Taylor small batch. Sorry. I have an E.H. Taylor single barrel that I have a pour and a half out of. I'm not a fan. I think my palate has changed from Buffalo Trace. I have 3 Buffalo Trace store picks, 3 of them that I have not cracked open. I have a whole Eagle Rare that I have not cracked open. Oh no, I cracked one Eagle Rare open. I did. I have an Eagle Rare store pick from Total Wine. I haven't opened it. Now my Thomas H. Handy is fantastic. I have a Hancock's Reserve that I haven't opened. I'm sure I will eventually open it. But I haven't opened it yet. And a fun story about the Hancocks, right? And this is where gets really frustrating for me, right? I think Hancock's retail is what, $49.99 a bottle, or $59.99 a bottle. I think that's retail. When I got my last bottle from Total Wine, like 8 months ago, I walked in with Liz and it was sitting on the shelf. It was $59.99, I'm pretty sure. That bottle's selling for $100 now at Total Wine. It's $99.99. Why? Fucking Hancock's is 88 proof, for Christ's sake. There is nothing $100 in that damn bottle, but because it's hard to get, and Total Wine's pandering to the caters, or they're cheating for the taters, right? They're getting the money out of it because people are like, oh shit, I can't find this. Buffalo Trace allocates it, or the damn distributors do. So I'm going to pay that much because I finally seen it on a shelf. No, that's not the right approach, man. It's totally not. Listen, I just don't agree with it. I'll die on this hill. kick me off that soapbox. I'm getting right back on it. But I don't like what Buffalo Trace stands for. So it's a struggle for me. And I'll be honest with you too. Another one, and sorry, this is gonna piss somebody off, I'm sure. Blue Run Spirits, man. There was a release that Blue Run did on Sealbox, and I think there were 8-year single barrels, and they wanted $250 a bottle. Let that sink in. $250 for a bottle of 8-year single barrel bourbon. That's nuts. That's absolutely nuts. And I'm sure people buy it. It just doesn't make sense to me. Why? Do you know what you can buy for $250? I can buy 1, 2, 3. I can buy 5 bottles of Rare Breed. Okay? 5. Now, again, I understand everybody's palate's not the same. I'm not going to judge you. If you buy a bottle of Blue Run 8-year-old single barrel bourbon and you spend $250, more power to you. If you go out and buy a double Eagle Rare or this Eagle Rare 25, and it's what you want, more power to you. I have no problem with that. What I have a problem with is that 8-year-old bourbon should in no way, shape, and form cost $250 a bottle. I don't care what your fucking packaging is. I don't care. I don't think you can buy a barrel. I don't think you can charge a barrel anywhere, right? Let's just do the math, right? Let's just do the math real quick. Where's my handy dandy calculator? Let's just say 8-year-old bourbon. We'll just say a barrel. We'll say a bottle yield of 180 bottles. Okay, it's pretty fair. 250 times 180 is $45,000 for a barrel. I highly, highly doubt that the barrel, all the packaging, cost them $45,000 for that. I don't believe it. I don't believe it was anywhere close. So it's just, again, you're taking something that's meant to be shared amongst friends in a community environment and introduce people to different things. You're taking that away from people that can't afford that stuff. Not everybody can afford $250. I'll guarantee you half the people that are buying shit now are doing so on credit and can't afford it anyways. So eventually, in some way, shape, and form, it's going to impact their financial situation. They're going to have to sell everything off or just hope or just live in debt for the rest of their life. That's not me. So, but again, hey, you know what? To each your own. If you want to live that way, that's your choice. If you want to buy those bottles, that's your choice. I'm just saying for me, I have no interest in it. I don't like what Buffalo Trace is doing. I will probably not buy another bottle of Buffalo Trace product. If I stumble, I will be honest, if I stumble across an antique collection, I will most likely, and if it's affordable, right? If it's a good price, which we all know the stores jack up all the Buffalo Trace antique collection prices anyway. So finding one affordable is not possible. And I won't go buy another bottle of Eagle Rare, or I won't buy another bottle of Hancock's. I won't buy another bottle of Blanton. I have Blanton unopened right now. I probably won't buy another bottle of Blanton's because, again, even Blanton's, right? That's a $60 bottle, $70 bottle. In Georgia, I can't find a bottle of Blanton's for less than $139. Come on, dude, seriously? It's ridiculous. It's just stupid. Like, I don't agree with it. So part of that is to blame on the distillery. Part of that's to blame on the distributors. And part of that's to blame on the liquor store owners. And again, I understand it's business, right? To each their own. You have your own opinion. You run your business your way, and that's your way of running your business, and that's completely fair. But as a consumer, I don't have to agree with the way you run your business. I understand it, right? If I was a business owner in your shoes, depending on your financials, your costs, your overhead, your inventory, like all of that stuff, I might make the same decision, okay? But I'm not those things, so I get to be a consumer. And as a consumer, I don't agree with that. And then me not agreeing with that, me being the one person, right, is going to impact your sales. I don't think it's going to have a huge impact. You're a gigantic distillery with plenty of sales, so I don't think one person not liking it. But I just share with you guys my thoughts on that and how I feel about it, because I don't agree with it. I don't think it's the right approach, right? And hit me up on Instagram, right? Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys agree. And if you totally don't agree, that's cool too, right? Again, even as consumers, right? I just mentioned the whole business side of things, but as consumers, if that's how you want to spend your money, and that's how if you have that money, whether you have it in liquid assets that you can liquidate immediately, or you got to put it on a credit card, if that's the way you want to spend your money, that's fine. You do you. But I just know for me, that's a very hard pill to swallow. It really, really is. And I think it's driving the industry in the wrong way. I just had a conversation with somebody the other night over dinner about tequila. We were at a bar, and the bartender said he was an ex-bourbon drinker and has moved to tequila. And he's starting to see what's going on in the tequila industry as far as prices go from retailers. And he's sickened by it. He said that's one of the main reasons I got out of bourbon. And I told him, I said, I'll be honest with you. Prices are definitely higher on tequila in some stores. But at the same time, I've found some very affordable prices on tequila. And I think there's a lot in the market right now that people don't know. I think people chase the tater bottles and pay astronomical prices for it. But there's some good stuff out there that is not astronomical prices, and it's definitely affordable. So, but the same thing's going to happen in the tequila world soon. Hopefully it doesn't, but I think it will. And again, it's supply and demand. I get it. Consumers want to buy things. I get it, right? But everybody does their own thing. Believe in what you believe in, right? Support your beliefs. Don't fall for somebody else's. Be you. Be who you are. Be true to that. So that's just who I am, and being true to that. So, all right, I'm off my soapbox, man. You guys are probably going to listen to this going, Jesus, Jason, 20 minutes about bitching about Buffalo Trace and Blue Run, for crying out loud. What a dumbass. So, well, hey, man, that does it for another episode of the Dram Amateur Podcast. Big shout out to everybody that understands my 2-week publishing time now. I'm going to try to get better with it. Maybe I can do some mini-sodes or something like that. I've got to figure all that out. But thanks for being patient with me. Thanks for understanding of that. I really appreciate all the support that you guys provide. So that'll wrap it up for this episode. Thank you guys all so much for listening. My name is Jason. I am the Dram Amateur on Instagram, and you have been listening to the Dram Amateur Podcast. Cheers and have a great day. Until next time, talk to you later. This has been the Dram Amateur Podcast.